Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, in our last video we showed you how to create this hamburger menu for the desktop version of your site. In this menu we've got a bit of fun today. If you look at the logo here, you may notice that it's floating up and down. And that's a pretty cute little effect there. And this has actually been supplied by somebody called As If. They actually sent this to me and I thought it was a bit of fun, so I thought I'd share it with you. Okay. Well, to get this done today, we've got to do a bit of coding. Don't let that put you off. Any code I write, I'll put down below the video for you to copy and use as you wish. Okay. Well, we've got to write some CSS to our theme customizer today. You can either do this in the Divi. If you go to your dashboard, you can go to theme options and you'll find a black box at the bottom you can write your code in, or you can go to appearance and customize, and that'll bring you to this page, and they've got an additional CSS box at the bottom here. I'll use this so you can see what's going on. Alright, well, let's drop down our little hamburger and we'll start again. Always a good idea to give your CSS a title, makes things a lot easier to find, especially if anybody else comes in and edits the site after you. So it's /*// in between the two stars. You can write whatever you like, it will not be read as code. So let's say floating header logo. Floating logo I guess would do. Now I'm using Google Chrome here with the great inspector tools. So let's right click and inspect this. Most browsers have this nowadays. If yours doesn't, Google Chrome is a free download. There's our actual logo, and as you can see when I'm hovering over things you'll see them highlight in blue up there. I could use that, but I don't know if it's going to have enough up and down in the parent container to do what I want it to do. So I think I'm going to use the actual logo container, which is the whole thing right there. So as you can see, it's a class name. It's called logo container. So I'm going to copy this class, double click and copy, Control C. All class names need to have a dot or a period in front of them. So there's a dot and then the class name. Now let's open and close some curly brackets and decide what we want to do. Okay, well, we've got to create an animation to make this work because we're going to use keyframes for it today. So I'm going to say animation name dash name. I'm going to call it floating logo. You can call yours what you want. I'm just trying to put something in there that's fairly descriptive. Semicolon. What do we want it to do? Well, I want it to animate a bit, and a duration that it takes to complete my animation. I'll put that in next, which is duration, animation duration. And it's prompted us. And I'm going to have mine about 3 seconds. If you're watching As If, I've modified your code slightly. Obviously to fit my needs. Your logo was a lot bigger than mine. Now how many times do we want this to actually happen? Well, I want it to keep going and going and going, so infinite basically. So animation iteration is what that is. Animation dash iteration, and as you can see it's prompted us again down the bottom there, colon, and I want it infinite. You can either scroll down here and find infinite or just type it in, whatever you want to do. Now the next thing we want to do is give it a speed curve of sorts. So let's give it animation timing function. There it is. I'm going to use ease in, ease out. If you watch any of my hover effects videos, you know I like that for a lot of my hover effects. So it's ease dash in dash out. Okay, so we've got an animation name, floating logo. And it's going to last 3 seconds and it's going to keep going and going and going, and it's going to ease in and ease out. So we need to create the actual animation now called floating logo. We're going to use keyframes to animate it. So we're going to say at keyframes. And don't forget, all this code will be down below if anybody just wants to copy and paste, but you can follow along if you want to learn how it actually works. And we'll call it floating logo, which is the name we gave it at the top, so it knows which one important thing right there. I put a capital F. You want to make sure it's exactly the same as it is above there. Now let's open and close some curly brackets. And we can set our keyframes. Now when it starts off, which is 0%, open and close some more curly brackets. I'm going to have it stay exactly where it is. So we're going to use transform translate for most of this today. There's transform. I want to translate, which is move. Translate, open and close some round brackets. And I want it to change by 0 up and down, comma, and 0 left and right. Or vice versa. Semicolon. Now I can just copy this first 0% to the first curly bracket there. Notice that we've got this contained in 2 curly brackets there and our whole keyframes contained in 1. So when we're done, we want to make sure we've got 2 curly brackets at the bottom. So I'm going to take this first keyframe, I'm going to copy it, Control C, I'm going to drop down. And the next one, I want to be 50%. So at 50%, I want this to actually jump up a little bit. And to make it do that, I'm going to say -5 pix. And as you can see, it started moving up there already. And that's actually not too bad. We'll put a third one in at 100, just take it back down to 0 smoothly. So again, I'm going to copy that keyframe. I'm going to drop down. At 100%, I'm going to change it back to 0 again. And there we have it. It's sort of bubbling and floating away there as if it's on a little wave. And that's a quite cute little effect. So let's publish to make this permanent. Get rid of my inspector down here. Now let's check out the site. I'll get rid of that one and we'll make sure it's happening on the front end. And there we go. We've got a little logo floating up and down there on the top, which is great. And let's just check this on responsive devices. I'm going to hit the F12 again to get the inspector up. I'm going to toggle my responsive button down here. There it is on a little iPhone. As you can see, it's floating up and down. I can make it bigger so you can see. And let's check it on an iPad or a tablet. As I mentioned before, I am not sponsored by Apple. And that's how it's going to look on an iPad. So there you go, guys. That is how to create a little floating icon for your website, or floating logo I should say. Thanks again to Asif for sending that in. As a side note, he actually emailed me. A lot of people email me. I've got 15 or 16,000 subscribers. I also teach on various other platforms. Most of the time, I apologize, I can't actually answer your emails. I can't even see that, I can't look through that many. I just happened to catch this one. So thanks again for that. And anybody that sent stuff in before, if I haven't seen it, I apologize. I'm not ignoring you. It's just simply there's way too much for me to actually handle. But I do really appreciate you guys sending this stuff in. So there you go, guys. There's a floating little logo for you. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and WebDesignAndTechTips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.